Craft brews and casual conversations. It is a beautiful day in July. June is out of the way. Summer has set in, and the beers are flowing, at least on one side of the microphone today. And we'll find out whose side that is very soon. We're going to leave you in a wee bit of suspense because there's a couple things we got to take care of first. And that is what?
Well, we got to cue that intro.
You're about to hear the greatest show of your life. Dudes with brews on a porch with Rob and Drew.
Hello, Rob.
Good afternoon, Drew.
How are you doing this fine day?
I'm doing good.
This
How are
fine,
you?
This fine day of twos. I'm fine. Well, actually, I'm not fine. We'll talk about it. But first, we got to get down to the nitty gritty. We got to get down to the details. I'm drinking a beer this time, Robert. I'm not drinking a bourbon. I'm drinking a beer. What kind of beer, you ask? Well, I'm drinking the Bourbon County beer. The Goose Island Bourbon County. This is from 2019, Rob. I found this on a shelf at a store that was going out of business from 2019, so it's been aged for quite some time. This is the Bourbon County brand Cheri Stout. It is aged in bourbon barrels with cherries, granola, oats, brown sugar, and 100% natural added flavors. Mon Cheri means my darling in French. So, Robert, you are Mon Cheri. Burbank Mon Cheri. Oh, oui, oui.
Ooh la la.
This recipe is a love letter from our brewer, Quinn. I don't even know if Quinn's even there anymore from 2019. 2019, they were there. To his wife, who loves cherries. Mon Cheri Stout is made with Ballantin and, oh my God, Montmorency cherries. Brewed with oats and a dash of brown sugar, creating aromas of amaretto with almond. One sip, you'll instantly get flavors of cherry cobbler, vanilla, and chocolate, followed by a silky, velvety finish. And that's what was my nickname in college: silky and velvety. Not so much of a finisher. Anyways, lackluster, if you will. 14.1 on the ABVs, 0 on the IBUs, or NA on the IBUs. This is what it looks like.
Ooh, it's dark.
You
You picked like the darkest of dark. I guess those are the bourbon aged stouts, right? Is that what you said it was?
Yep.
Yeah, it's always going to be dark like that, I suppose.
Definitely get the cherries out of it. You get the little bit of booziness. Doesn't really have much of a bite to it. Sweet. It's a sweeter beer. I get a little vanilla in it. Not too bad. I was pretty pumped to find this. I wasn't pumped about the store going out of business because it's a good place that I go to from time to time, and unfortunately, it's going bye-bye. But they had this on the shelf for some reason. I wonder if he was just stashing it, and then it's just like, well, we're going out of business, so we might as well throw it on there. And I saw it, I grabbed it, and I haven't learned to regret it yet, which is a good thing. Rob, before we dive into some of the things that I want to discuss, can we discuss a loss that we are experiencing here in the state of Wisconsin?
Yeah, we can. You have to fill me in on it.
All right. Well, let me set the mood right here. Can you hear that?
I can hear it. My mood has shifted.
The day was July 1st when the state of Wisconsin learned that for the 2025-2026 season, Damian Lillard will not be making his return to the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks waived the remainder of his contract. His last game as a Milwaukee Buck, a real heartbreaker, a real tearjerker, if you will. Torn Achilles right in the first round of the playoffs against the Indiana Pacers, a team that has developed quite the rivalry against the Milwaukee Bucks. Fallen like a soldier on the battlefield, wounded, and now forever out into the abyss of the free agency to be picked up by another team. Will he see the court in 2025, 2026? There's a good chance he won't. There's a good chance that another team will never draft Damian Lillard. We may never hear his game announced in the NBA. But for the people in Wisconsin, we mourn, we grieve. For he won us the 3-point contest trophy one time. He also contributed to the Milwaukee Bucks being the leaders, the winners of the in-season tournament. After that, we didn't see much from him. Real hit or miss. He'll still be raking in $22 million per year over the next 5 years from the Milwaukee Bucks, but it frees up plenty of space for the Milwaukee Bucks to gain additional players, one of which we can be excited about, Miles Turner from the Indiana Pacers. He is coming to the squad, hopefully to bring us more victories and more defense and just more contributions than some other ones. Also to the wayside, which I'm not as upset about. Pat Connaughton, no longer a Milwaukee Buck. They traded his ass. And we got some no-namer in return. And as far as Giannis Antetokounmpo, we're not really sure if he's going to be coming back or not. Hopefully he will be. And yeah, so that's what's going on. Dame Lillard, we'll see you when we see you.
Also, the death of the Big Mac guy.
What? Don
I
Gorski?
don't know. I just wanted to put a bookend on it, but I do want to say, can we pause recording for a second?
Yeah. All right. We have returned. All things are well, except for Dame Lillard, who is no longer a Milwaukee Buck, but apparently he's elated.
What about Yanni? Is he still?
For now.
Yeah.
The trade deadline is July 6th. I know Giannis is sad that Brook Lopez is gone. They picked up Miles Turner from Indiana, who's a veteran player, but also a pretty good player. He did decent in the playoffs, played in the championship, so we'll see. I don't think the Pacers will be much of a threat next year, hopefully. Tyrese Haliburton probably not going to see the court either due to an Achilles. Jason Tatum, Dame Lillard, Tyrese Haliburton all wear 0. All tore their Achilles this year. Part of the script.
Well, they're already starting to talk about what they need to do because of this Achilles injury uptick.
They need to wear higher rise shoes. They all have these low ankle shoes.
That's what they're saying. But if you're telling me that, I don't know. I don't know the sports science, the science behind the sports or the shoes.
Yeah.
So there we go. I'm not really into basketball these days. I went golfing the other day.
Oh, yeah?
It's very good. I watched the Cornhole Championships the other day. The female doubles, riveting.
I bet you that would be an
comeback. It was a comeback win from 10-1. 10-1, they came back and won.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's thrilling. But yeah, lots going on in the world of sports. A lot has happened in that realm in Wisconsin today. So
we lost Jair. I thought you were going to talk about Alexander. I didn't know what happened today, but Jair went somewhere.
Baltimore Ravens.
And I'm not thrilled about that.
I'm not thrilled about it either. He was injured. He didn't play, he played a small percentage of games in the last handful of years, but quality time on the field, great guy.
He was in every play. When he was on the field, he was on the ball.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, so, and what? He can't be that old
No,
to be like worried about being injured for the rest of his career.
but he was injured a lot.
Anyway, let's sports corner. Let's move off of it.
I recently,
Unless you got more to talk about with sports.
nope, I don't. So last weekend, I DJ'd a wedding, trying to get that, some extra cash here every once in a while. I packed up my things. I drove to the place. I set up 3 times. One time because I had to set up outside for the ceremony, move all my stuff for the cocktail hour, and then move all my stuff again for the reception. It was a lot. I did it, and I was happy to do it. It was a solid time. People were shucking, people were jiving, people were singing and dancing and having a jolly good time, right? Get towards the end of the night, and this is an emotion I haven't felt in a really long time, Rob. A really long time. I get to the sing-songy part of the evening, the last half hour. You're queuing up Piano Man, you're throwing on Sweet Caroline, all that stuff, right? Typical wedding songs. I put on Sweet Caroline, and the guy comes up to me, and he goes, give me the mic, because he wants to sing. And I was just like, I'm like gauging him, and I'm just like, and he goes, I won't drop it, I promise. And he didn't seem like he was intoxicated or anything, so I said, okay, here you go. Gave him the mic. I put the volume up, and he actually sounded pretty good singing. Did a good job. Brings me, and then I play Piano Man right after that, and some other guy grabs the mic and is belting into it. It's awful. It's not good. It was super annoying. I was getting really, really kind of annoyed because I was like,
how was the crowd reacting?
The crowd was fine. They just, I don't know. They're all been drinking or whatever. My concern is if you break this microphone, I have to pay for it. Like, this is my microphone. This stuff's not cheap. And I also don't need you like screaming into the microphone, overmodulating the music, overmodulating all the stuff and blowing out my speakers, Not to say that would happen, but I was really pissed. And then after that song, I forget what I played, or it might have been during the same song, but like the guy that took it gave it to someone else and like looked at me and just raised his hands like, oh, well, I don't have it anymore. Oh. And I was pissed. I went to the guy and I was like, you need to give me my mic back. Like, go get it and bring it back to me. Because I'm not going to look like an asshole going out there and ripping it out of somebody's hand. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
And he's like, yeah, I'll get it. He didn't get it. People are belting into it and shit. I turn it all the way down on my mixer. I turn it down, and the people keep on trying to sing it. They're like smacking it to see if it'll make the noise on the speakers. And then a lady comes up, and I was fuming. I don't get like really mad too easily. I don't think, like overly mad. I was like ready to fucking just like scream because I was like, the shit's expensive. Like I am the owner of this stuff. This is mine. Not some company. This is mine. And a lady comes up to me. And she goes, oh, I don't think the microphone's on. And I said, no, it's not. And it's not supposed to be. So please give it back. And I like fucking snapped. And then
You should have said it's on, but I think you guys broke it.
I should have. But I snapped at this lady. And I don't think this lady she wasn't like hammered or anything, but I'm just like, the fuck are you
This isn't karaoke. I'm a DJ. This is how I make money, and the money I make here will not pay for the microphone. So please give it back to me.
Right, exactly. So I was getting fumed, and I let it like impact me the rest. And thankfully, I only had like 2 songs after that. But then you get the one person next to me who's like, I need some good rap to close this out, and I was like, no. And I kind of told the person, I was like, I'm playing music to get people to leave now. Like that's what we do in the last 15 minutes. I'm going to play a song that everybody knows, everybody likes, and then the last song is a song that you don't dance to and you fucking walk out the door. And I told her, I was like, no, I'm not playing a rap song.
What is it? What is that, like Pearl Jam?
No, it's always closing time. Closing time.
Yeah, I figured it was probably closing time.
That's what, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. It even says, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. That applies in this room right now, in this moment. Get the fuck out of here. Let me break myself down, haul it to my car, sweat my balls off, and go home and get 4 hours of sleep. Let me do that. Your fucking rap music. Your boyfriend grabbed my fucking microphone right before this, and you saw that I was upset and you didn't have them bring it back to me. Go fuck yourself. Go listen to Spotify. That's how I was feeling in the moment.
Okay. I mean, I have no frame of reference. I'm normally the guy that's like, what are we closing it down for? Can I kick it?
I'm that guy as well. After I've had too many, I don't want the good time to end. I understand that. I get it. But I also am not the guy that grabs the microphone and tries to belt every word into it. Like, I'll sing along. I'll sing the songs. I'll sing loudly. But I'm not grabbing other people's stuff and, like, smacking it to, oh, I can't hear myself.
When people are drinking, though, they really, and you give them a microphone, they think it's karaoke, and they think a microphone can't cost that much. It's like a roll of toilet paper costs $12, so the microphone is expensive.
Right.
Eggs are not cheap anymore. What makes you think this piece of equipment is also nothing lasts? So you think it's not going to break when you hit it, and
Yeah. So I was upset to the point where, like, I have my DJ page on Instagram or whatever. And it's like a mix. I post my running stuff, I post my radio stuff, and I post DJing stuff, right? To the point where I'm writing in the description, I think the people, lots of fun, this and that. And then underneath it, I start typing, I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be doing this. So if you want to, maybe figure something out with me, let me know. But I took that off because I was like, that probably isn't going to sound
You should do
good.
that. That's what Netflix does with every series now. It's the final season, part 1.
Yeah, the farewell tour. Motley Crue's done 6 of them, and they all have
gone
pretty well.
It's a beautiful ploy.
But
I'm retiring DJ Dad Bod, and I'm emerging anew as DJ Don't Touch My Mic.
That should be Don't Touch My Mic, right? But other than that, it was fine. The wedding was good. I made some money, and yeah. So here I am to talk about it, but it like I haven't felt that angry in a long time. I get angry, I get upset, I get annoyed, but I was like a cougar, ready to pounce, and I'm like, I don't know if I like the way I feel right now.
No, it's terrible. I've been really trying to hone back on that because I was getting very angry at things at work. And I've been trying to maintain a Zen mentality. It's very difficult to do. So
what I would like to do now that you say that, they always say you need like a mantra, right? Part of I think one form of meditation is you have something a mantra, a phrase, a word that you say to yourself that helps you remain centered, helps you keep calm, and keeps you in a state of mind that you want to be in. So I would like to create those mantras right now. What do you think, Robert? You're a creative person. You're a beautiful person. You know me very well. So I would like you to maybe give me some mantras I could try out when I'm feeling a little blue, when I'm feeling upset, when I'm feeling, anything. When I'm feeling like
Is this something to say out loud or say in your head?
Both.
Okay. It's a tough one. I mean, because I know I used to have the mantra, at least I don't have cancer.
I don't. It got cut out.
The don't got cut out?
I said I don't. It got cut out.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It won't work for you necessarily.
Well, currently.
But like, there's something along those lines. Somewhere there's someone in, whatever. It's I used to think about, at least I'm not in a World War I trench. If those guys could survive that, this is easy. But
is that really a mantra though? Because that's just like,
I don't remember what the phraseology of it was, but yeah, that's why I said, is it in your head or is it something you want to say out loud?
Because when you put it in those terms, it's like, just because they had it bad doesn't mean I got it good.
That's the opposite of a mantra, what you just came up with. It's absolutely the wrong way to look at anything.
Oh, okay. That's why I'm giving you the power here, Rob. You're better at these types of things.
I mean, I can tell you this is something I just heard and I've decided to make it my mantra. I did not make this up. But it's the C is within me, and that's because I said so.
The C is with like the letter C is for cookie?
No, the C, the SEA. The C is within me, and that's because I said so. I like that because that's a powerful thing, and you have the power to change the tides and change the atmosphere. It's like saying, to me, I like to have a mantra that dictates the fact that I'm the god of my own world.
Well, Tony Montana had that. The world is yours.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's the best. I mean, unless you want to give yourself over to some higher power, which I don't think that's what a mantra's for. But it's like, do you want something to calm you down in those moments, or do you want something to give you perspective, or do you want something to give you power?
I think I just want to remain neutral.
So you want to keep an even keel. You want a peaceful.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you put me on the spot with this.
Well, you can think
because
about
I think it should be something that has no meaning, to be honest.
Okay.
I would legitimately like, oh, I see the tree for the wind is strong. Mantra, boom.
I see the tree for the wind is strong. Well, You don't need a wind. You don't need the wind to see a tree. I can look out a window.
Doesn't matter. That's the whole point. It's not about thinking about it. It's about taking you can sit there and go around and, okay, I hear the tree for the wind is strong. Whatever. I don't care. I'm just saying it's something that is something you can picture in your mind, something you can say out loud that's just going to get you out of your own head. I remember when I was trying to learn tail slides, and my buddy Andy, he just said, just aim for the middle. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? Aim for the middle of the rail, the middle of the tail, the middle of the, like, what are you talking about? And he just aim for the middle. And I kid you not, all I thought when I rolled up to that next tail slide was aim for the middle. And I did, and I learned how to tail slide. And now it just takes your mind. It's something to take your mind off of what it is that is frustrating you. And it doesn't have to have meaning. In fact, the less meaning it has, the better. In some, if you want to keep a peaceful state of mind, if you want it to give you power and amp you up, then you need to design it for that. I'm not an expert in mantras, by the way.
I am a majestic dumpster fire, but I glow.
I mean, I'd still say that skews negative, but yeah, if that's what you want, like I said, it doesn't have to be.
Everything is fine. Probably.
Yeah, probably. I might be okay.
Yeah.
Simple.
Inhale the good shit. Exhale the bullshit. Is that a good one?
I mean, I would say that's a good breathing thing, you know.
Inhale the shit, exhale the bull. I mean, what? Inhale the bull, exhale the shit?
I don't think this is one that you want to paraphrase. I think you inhale the good, exhale the bowl, you could do that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can do my best.
There you go. I mean, I don't know how serious you want this to be. So if you really want a mantra, that's something that you have to come up with yourself, because it's not because it's going to be specific to you and what you want, like what makes you not like, if you're trying not to think, if you're trying to go like, okay, this thing that's frustrating me, these people have my microphone, all right, they have my microphone and I want it back, and it's pissing me off that they're not treating it with the respect that I wish that they would give it. At a certain point, if you want to not get angry there, you have to do something in your head that goes, the microphone doesn't matter.
Do you
I'll
think
be fine if the microphone breaks, but most likely the microphone's not gonna break unless I sit here and get so upset with these people that I'm worried about the microphone breaking, that I'm so upset that I turn down the volume, and then like a bunch of banshee monkeys, they start smashing it on the ground going, it's not working, it's not working, and they break it because you turned down the volume because you were worried it was going to break. You're a self-fulfilling prophecy in that headspace. So what you want out of a mantra is something to take you out of that self-fulfilling prophecy and that cycle.
Yeah. Do you think in this specific scenario, this is more of a power dynamic? The microphone a representation of the power of the DJ. What is a DJ without their microphone? Without their microphone, they don't have a voice.
You were talking, and I legitimately went, you were losing control of the mob of people. That is your job as a DJ. You make them dance. They are your puppets.
That's right. I am the clown, but you are the dancing clowns.
Yeah, and it's like, once again, this is not karaoke. I do not have words on a screen. This is not for you that way.
Right. So do you think it was more of in a moment I felt naked, and I'm like, no, I need to be in control. I need to be powerful. I need to be the DJ.
I think if you think that, I think that's the truth. Yes.
I don't know. It's another way of looking at it.
I don't think it came down to the cost of the microphone. I don't think that's what made you so upset. I think it was the loss of the audience was out of your hands for that at a very crucial point in the night.
Yeah.
And it's a rookie mistake to give the microphone to somebody. You go, maybe, but then you realize, oh shoot, if I give the microphone to one guy, then another guy's going to want it on the next song, and then another guy's going to want it on the next song, and all of a sudden it's cascaded into where you need the microphone to tell people to get the fuck out,
right?
But you don't have the microphone.
And
then you're being bullied by a bunch of drunk people. They're playing keep away with your microphone, and you're going, give me my microphone. I need my microphone. And it takes you right back to when you were 6. Remember that? Remember that when people stole your microphone when you were in 1st grade? And you hated it?
I mean, yeah, I had another thought, but I forgot what it was. I'm getting razzled.
You're channeling the wedding singer.
You're right.
Except for you didn't have the microphone. Is that the one where he says that? I have a microphone and you don't, so you will shut the hell up and listen to what I have to say or whatever?
Yeah. Pretty much, he says, one more outburst, I will strangle you with my microphone cord.
Yeah.
This one was wireless.
It's like, you were Adam Sandler without a microphone, which is a bad place to be.
Yeah. I wonder if it's taps into like my ability of like, I like being the center of attention when it comes to being entertaining. I don't want to be the center of attention for negative reasons. I want to be the center of attention because I'm the funny guy in the room. I'm the popular person, playing the music, controlling the vibes, and I want to feel good about myself. And now you've taken the one thing away, and I can't use that to make people like me, and I'm now going to get pissed off about it. I don't know. Am I a narcissist?
I don't know. I've been asking myself that question a lot lately. So maybe we're just on the same trajectory.
I think a lot of times in these situations is, I look back growing up, I wasn't necessarily a popular person. I wasn't like the person that people like shit on or anything like that. I was friends with popular people. Your brother, one of my best friends, one of the more popular people in the school. Friendly guy, good dude. I understand why he's popular. In high school, I didn't, I drank here and there. I didn't do any drugs in high school. I wasn't. I was like kind of like, no, I don't want to do that. And a lot of people looked down on me because I didn't do them. And there was pressure even from my friends, and I was just like, no, man, I'm not going to do that. So that kind of led me to always just being friends with some popular kids. I would, so maybe I felt, and a lot of times like, oh, Drew's not invited to this party or this one, or he's not good enough to have this girl go to homecoming with him, so she stands him up or something like that, and that kind of shit. So it.
Do you think would you consider yourself a sidekick growing up?
Kind of. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And
yeah, because I was a sidekick 100%. I jumped from group to group, and
same.
The most popular person in the group would be really good friends with me, but I felt like the rest of the group could give two shits about whether or not I was around or who I was or whatever. Now, I was friendly with everybody, and they were all friendly with me, but I found out later I was completely wrong about that. Like at one of my buddy's funerals, there and a bunch of people said, "Why are you waiting in line to go up there? Like, go up there. You guys were best friends." Like,
yeah.
And that like shocked me, and that's why I think I'm a narcissist, because at my friend's funeral that happened, and I took away a selfish like burden was lifted from me, where it's like, oh, I was noticed by people and I didn't realize it.
I mean, I would say I was a sidekick, but like people, other people in the room, like when I was there with them, everyone was like cool with me or whatever, and would talk to me, and we had a good time. And there was a couple times where like other people then from a group would extend an invite to me to come play poker. It depends on what it was. If it was like a small gathering, 10 people were playing poker, they would invite me. If it's a large party where certain individuals are going to be there, people of notoriety in that, whatever that means at that age, I wouldn't be invited. Or I would like just come along. I'm here because I know Ryan.
Well, yeah, those things I didn't feel like you needed an actual invite to.
Right.
But if you're getting invited to the 10 and less gatherings, those are the gatherings that matter, I think. But
I don't know.
Either way, it's all about how you frame things, and how you want them to affect you moving forward.
But I think that has something to do with it. I think like, I like I said, and I know Ryan listens to these from time to time. Ryan was good at everything. Like he still is. He is.
I was just talking to my parents about this.
He's just so good at everything, and good for him. He puts in the work. He does it. I wasn't good at wrestling. I wasn't good at sports. I wasn't good. I did okay academically. I think the only thing now that I can say like that I'm for sure good at is like I think I'm a pretty good dad. A lot of people tell me that, which is nice. But it's I think that's part of it. And like I want to be, as much as I bitch about DJing, I want to be good at it. I want people to tell me I did a good job. Like that's why I like doing those live shows when I interview Packer players. I love like getting the jokes out and then people laugh. Like when I say something off the cuff, a one-liner, and it like hits. It's like a high. It's like an adrenaline. I'm just like, fuck. I said something that impacted a whole room for 10 seconds. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know if it's abandonment issues from when I was younger. I don't know if it was, or if it was just because like, hey, like not too many people paid much attention to me or noticed like that I was funny or took the time to understand like, what makes me tick.
Well, I mean, in a room, like that's the thing. That was your way of controlling a room in one, even if it's only for a moment.
Right.
When you talk about people who are quote unquote popular or cool or what, how we perceive them to be, it's like when you talk to Ryan, like he's going to tell you, I wasn't trying to do any anything to control a room or to be the guy in the room,
No, he just was.
or anything like that. But when
He was
like when
majestic.
you're somebody who sees that and acknowledges that somebody else has that ability, and then you go, okay, well, what's my ability in the room?
Right.
It's to make people laugh. I mean, that's, you hear that story from just about anybody who goes into entertainment of sorts, especially comedic entertainment. Like, they go, at some point they made their classroom laugh, or they made somebody laugh in a way that was it made it, all of a sudden it took all of their anxiety away for that moment, and it was like, oh, I'm not a burden in this conversation, I'm not a burden in the room that I'm sitting in, I'm not a burden to the people around me, I've brought value, and my value is that I can make people chuckle, which is something that everybody likes to do. It's like,
Right.
and especially if it's an unfiltered, like, it's not a forced laugh, it's an actual true genuine laugh. It's like, you can't hide that, there's no lying in that.
Right.
Me, I was always somebody that I was convinced people were lying to me, that they wanted me around. I had very bad self-esteem and confidence issues, and it's like,
Yeah, so did
but
I.
yeah, when you have that happen, and you get just the perfect timed witty response or whatever, and people like can't help but laugh, and it's like, that's honesty. I just made you be honest with me to a point where I understand, and I'm willing to believe that.
Yeah. So maybe that's what it all.
Or
stems
maybe, you're just I don't know,
I mean, I think of like
narcissistic asshole that needs to be the center of attention. That could be it too. I mean,
I guess that could be the case. I mean, I think back to like, and I haven't thought about this until this moment for a while, and I've probably told this story before, but I think it was my freshman year. There was, I wasn't like I said, I was this awkward kid. I wore the same 5 t-shirts every week. Like, it was always like, on Monday he's gonna wear this shirt, Tuesday, pretty much like that almost. But I kind of like, I made a girl laugh, and she was a good looking girl, a pretty girl. She was in my science class. Made her laugh, sat by her. We would chat from time to time, and then we somehow got on like the subject of like where we live, and she actually lived like 2 blocks away from me. So she invited me over to her house, and then I went to her house and we started smooching, just like little kids, dude. you know what I mean? Kids in high school. I was 9th grade, just smooching or whatever, and then on my way, and then I told my friends, because that's what you do, I guess, when you're in 9th grade. And then it got brought up in a group of people, and a guy looked at her and he goes, Did that happen? And she just goes, No, he's lying. And then
brutal.
Yeah. And then in that moment, I had to, I just walked away, and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know what to do. I was like, well, I guess it's time to learn. So that's what I did. But yeah, so I think that, that was a defining moment. I'm like,
I mean, yeah, and but
I hope
you gotta
she's
let that
miserable.
go.
I hope she's miserable now. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah. I think.
What do you think is worse, being rejected or never even asking the question, or never having the smooch to be rejected from later?
I don't know. Other than rejection, probably. I don't know. I was on top of the world for a day, because I was like, this doesn't happen to me.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm in the other camp. I used to shrug off signals, quote unquote, if you're listening to George Costanza.
Yeah.
It's like if a girl wanted to dance with me at Woody's or something, I would legitimately go like, oh, it's pity. I must have a sad look on my face, and they don't want a sad person at Woody's.
Yeah.
Even my first girlfriend like had to be very aggressive with me before I finally was like, oh, you're not making fun of me behind my back. You're not, like touching me and doing these things so that you can laugh about, like you're waiting for me to go, oh, you want to hang out? And then you can like spit in my face and go, as if. That's what I expected to happen.
I mean, and this is like, I don't want people to think like I'm just like, I don't live in the past by any means, but it's these, I think like there's all these like moments, small moments as you grow up, as you become a person that like kind of explains like when you look at yourself when you're 30, 40 years old, closer to 35, and you're like, why am I fucked up? Oh,
But it's not even that. I mean, I was legitimately just talking to my parents about this too. It's crazy. This is kind of right along the lines of a conversation I was having yesterday with my parents, because there's one big thing that like me and my older brother always look back on from our childhood, and that was my dad used to have all these National Geographics. I'm sure I talked about this, but he would have us, we'd have to read an article. We could pick any National Geographic, or he'd give us a National Geographic and go, pick any article you want in this National Geographic, read it, and write me a little report on it. And I'm going to read the article. I'm going to read your report. We're going to have a conversation. And if you don't understand the article, you got to do it again. It's something his dad did to him, or, for him, to him, however you want to look at it, as a punishment or whatever. And my mom didn't like the fact that he was like doing that. So she like threw out all the National Geographics, which he had like, I don't know, hundreds of them. And but me and my older brother, we look back on it and we go, we're so glad that he did this. He probably only got away with doing it for like 2 weeks before my mom like shut it all down, because she thought that it was like this cruel punishment that kids need to be kids when they're not in school, and when they go to school, that's when they learn. But
Yeah.
It made such an impact on both of us, and it's like that little 2-week window of doing that thing. It made some, like, it's you just you never know what these things are going to do and how they're going to grow in somebody's mind.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, we both thought it was good. At the time, we weren't happy about it. It's like you could have taken that and learned how to deal with rejection. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think a defining moment like that, like what I was talking about earlier, I think in a sense I did get some more confidence after that, because then I found somebody who did like me and thought I was funny and wasn't afraid to say, hey, I'm hanging out with this guy.
Yeah, if anything, it probably made it made the way that you have a relationship more important, like certain things more important, like being seen together and being able to hold hands in public or put your arm around somebody. I don't know if that matters to you, but
No.
I could see how maybe it would after you were shunned that way or whatever.
Yeah. And then by the time I was a senior in high school, I had a kid.
Everybody knew who Drew was and what he was getting down to.
And that unleashed a whole new territory of people to make comments and poke fun about. And like, I had a guy one time that I just met that day when I worked at Walmart. He found out that I had a kid, and he's like, "How old are you?" And I'm like, "I'm 18." And he goes, "Yo, if that were me, if I were you, I'd kill myself." I'm like, "Oh, okay, thanks."
I'm sure in some way, shape, or form, he was trying to pay you a compliment, like, good job waking up in the morning.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to do that.
I still, not that long ago, I think I had to be 33. I was at a funeral, and somebody was like, I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is my daughter." And they're like, "This is your daughter? How old?" And I was like, "Yeah, she's 15. You have a 15-year-old?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." She's like, "You're not old enough to have a 15-year-old." I was like, "Well, I'm 33. Like, why is that?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's still not old enough." And I was like, "Oh, all right. Well, thank you for coming to my grandma's funeral.
Yeah.
where we're here to mourn. Here's a pamphlet. Go sit down.
Yeah.
It's like, lady, I've gotten it for the
Your
last 15
your
years.
argument about how old I can be and have a 15-year-old is not one you should be having with me. You're supposed to have that argument with God or something. There's
Right.
I had no hand in whether or not an 18-year-old can have a child or a 17-year-old can have a child.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. And just stuff like that too. Even like,
but I'm hitting the inverse, which is like now I'm pushing 40 with no kid.
that's all right.
And that's the new conversation that people that have kids that want want you to have a kid. Misery loves company, I guess. I mean, the kids seem like a joy. That's what I meant to say.
Kids are, there's pros and cons to everything. I wouldn't have it any other way, but I understand why people wouldn't. It makes sense in a lot of ways. I don't.
Oh yeah, it's a lot. It's having kids is emotional. It's not logical, unless you're thinking in terms of like carrying on your lineage or whatever, which is what it used to be, kind of. If you're rich,
Right.
But we don't need to get into all that because honestly, that's for everybody to make them. That's a decision that people make themselves.
Yeah.
There's some things that there's no reason to actually chime in on, and whether or not somebody has kids is one of those.
Right. But it is what it is. It's all these moments that defined you as a person, I guess. I wanted to try a new bit, and see how it lands. So I did the real academic exercise where I bought a book. It's called The Skeleton Crew, a collection of short stories written by Stephen King with The Mist. The Mist is on there. This is one of the first stories you read. It was really good. The book was really good, or the short story, I should say. And then I read The Monkey is a part of that collection as well. The Monkey was a movie that was released earlier this year. So I did the thing where I read the short story, and then I watch the movie to see as I push my glasses up the brim of my nose, if the book is better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, after I read the short story first, and then I watched the movie. I watched the movie the other day, and I got to say, I left the movie. Leaving the movie, meaning sitting on my couch. I was a little annoyed by the movie. I was like, you had this great story, and you did nothing with it. There's no similarities outside of a couple of character names of what you did, which I guess is when you look at it, like, it's good because you take the concept of a story and you make it your own in the form of a movie. But if you're like want to be a purist and you want to do the story justice, you should probably follow the format of the story to the point where in the short story you have this monkey. When you think of those toy monkeys, what instrument do you think of? Cymbals, right? Cymbals in the short story. In the movie, he's playing drums, which I was like, and it's such like a dynamic change. It's a shift. I was like, why would you take that away?
Well, I feel like that's actually something that I mean, if it says cymbals in the story, I don't see the point in not having the cymbals. But I feel like you could ask 100 people that question. Toy monkey plays what instrument? And you're going to get a high percentage that say drums. But I think the majority, would probably be, 60-40. Because now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, yeah, there's a little drummer monkey, but my brain instantly goes to the cymbals.
Right. The cymbals in the story, drums in the movie. In the story, you have Hal. He's the kind of the main character. It begins with him being an adult, a family member. His aunt passed away, He's going through her stuff. He stumbles upon the monkey in the attic with the symbols. And then it kind of like the story goes back and forth, flashbacks to present time, flashbacks, family dynamics, this and that. Explains some of the deaths surrounding the monkey. In the short story, the monkey just claps his cymbals and somebody dies. His friend died, babysitter, mom. When he turns the key on the back, nothing happens. The cymbals don't clap. It's kind of just a sporadic thing that happens. But for some reason, Hal can always hear like the chink, chink, chink of the cymbals. And it goes into like that dynamic, how he's going to take care of this or whatever. And it's really a good short story. It's only like 30 pages, but it's really good. I enjoy it.
Can I ask, in the movie, does the drum give suspense?
Kind of. So like when the monkey in the movie, you have to turn the key in the back, and then he hits his drum, and then his arm goes up, and that's like the deciding factor. This is when the monkey is making his choice of who he's going to kill. When he brings it down, it kills that person.
Okay.
So I guess when you're looking at it like that, but you could have it where like he claps, and then like has it open, and then does one final one. You know what I mean? You could have done that.
Yeah, I mean, you could have, but the symbols are annoying over time.
Sure. Yeah, I could see that.
But they're monkey symbols. They're little tiny things. But I was thinking about it in terms of the soundtrack and like the Jaws effect of suspense building, and like the drum probably it creates a low frequency whatever that comes through the speakers and hits the audience and creates a mood inside them that actively puts them in a suspenseful state.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably why they changed it to a drum. That would be my guess. I have no idea. I am not an expert, professional, or knowledgeable in any way. So continue.
I think that's a good point. In the movie, there's like it's created off this like rift in the family. There's twin brothers, Hal and Bill. In the book, they're just standard brothers, right? They're fine. In the movie, they essentially hate each other really badly, to the point where Hal is bullied all the time because of what his brother says. Hal goes into the room and says, "You know what? Fuck this. I'm grabbing the monkey. I'm turning it, and I'm saying, kill Bill, kill Bill. I want my brother to be dead." And then, as a result, the mom dies. So that's where like this kind of dynamic comes, and then like they goes forward in time, and then it's like a war of brothers almost. It's interesting, but it was just really like the movie felt really rushed. The movie felt like it just like ended kind of abruptly, and they're just like, yeah, this is our problem to deal with now. We'll be careful. And
that's the other thing is you're taking like a 30-page short story and making it into a 90-page script. Normally, you're taking a large book and dropping it down to a 90-page script, in which case you have stuff that's good that you can cut out, not a new writer that has to write a bunch of new stuff in.
Yeah. Well, I think Stephen King was part of the...
He probably was, but he's not a script writer. He's an author, That's a whole different type of writing.
I don't know, but I feel like they could have made a movie. They could have done it with the flashbacks, and they could have made the movie based off the book. I really think so.
Oh, you're probably right. I mean, and Stephen King really gets the shaft a lot. There's a lot of movies that have been made based on his books, and they do not live up. And they make such weird little choices. One of the biggest ones being in Misery. I believe in the book, she hobbles him with a sledgehammer and just destroys his foot.
Yeah, in the movie it's his knees.
In the movie, she severs it with an axe. Why make that?
Does she? I thought she just smashes his knees.
No, I thought that she uses an axe in the movie.
Maybe.
And cuts his foot off.
It's been a minute since I've seen it.
It's maybe not off all the way, but I'm pretty sure like and it's probably like, because I feel like I remember the cover being what's her name? The
Kathy Bates?
Yes, Kathy Bates. with blood, with the axe and the blood and the but I just remember I read the book and then I saw the movie and I was like, why did they change that? Because it's one of the most visceral scenes in the book when she hobbles him with a sledgehammer and his foot is just a mangled thing that's hanging on.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm making that all. I mean, I swear though, like that's such a vivid memory for me in terms of the differences between those. That was one of the first books that I read and then watched the movie, as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah. And it was just I just found it interesting how like I was like, yeah, in this case the book is better. The story is better because it was, I don't know. Not to say the movie was awful. Maybe it's worth a watch one time, but I was just kind of not as great.
Well, I'm interested. It's like that's what we should do an episode on is come to the table with some movies that were better than the book.
That's like kind of my goal in this is try to find that.
It's very difficult. That's going to take some time and research and going back through the archives.
That could be a whole new podcast, Rob, where we read a book and then watch the movie.
Absolutely, we could, yeah. It would force me to read some more, which I have not been doing.
Yeah. I will say at the end of The Mist, and I did a little research, the ending of the short story is almost as dividing as the ending of the movie, but for different reasons. Are you okay with a spoiler of the end of The Mist?
Spoil it up.
At the end, so we know at the end of the movie, they're in the mist. They got to the car. They're driving. Guy's got a gun. He's got enough bullets to take out everybody in the car, but not himself. So he kills everybody, gets out of his car, gets ready to get absorbed by the beast. The government comes, clears the mist away. All beasts are gone, and you're just like, holy buckets. You know?
Yeah. Well, and you made it seem like that was such an easy choice, but yeah, he had 4 bullets with 5 people in the car. And he chose to kill everybody else and then take the brunt of the mist monsters, only to find the army had just, beat them literally right before they step upon his area or whatever.
And he also within those choices where one was his kid. He killed his kid. In the book, it ends and it kind of even acknowledges your stereotypical kind of like crappy ending of there is no ending. I'm writing this in real time. This is the story that we've experienced. I don't know what's going to happen next. We're driving to this place. I got this much gas in the tank. I got these people with me, and we're driving. And that's it. It's just like it's not the ending you want. It even says that like something along the lines in that short story. This isn't the ending that you want, because it's an ending that doesn't have that isn't one.
Do you like that? How do you feel about that?
I preferred it over the movie ending. Because
I like a lot of death at the end of everything.
Yeah. You watch 101 Dalmatians and you're like, well, there really should only be one at the end of this movie.
yeah. That's not looking for a sequel. Definitely not adding.
Right. Well, yeah, not adding one. And then
yeah,
Cruella should have at least gotten some socks out of this situation. If you really wanted to get the point across.
I feel like she had gotten to the top of the fashion industry. You can't be that cutthroat and not able to get at least one Dalmatian made into a piece of clothing.
A nice hat, maybe a pair of gloves.
Just,
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was all right. I liked the story. Like it was pretty. It was really good. I guess I don't know. Do I want a definitive ending in that situation or not? Do I want to leave it to the mind of the viewer or the reader? I guess I do like a definitive ending. I want to know, is it a happily ever after or is it not? I'm almost halfway through this book. It's 600 pages. There's 22 short stories in it. and a couple of them are like only like 3 pages, but they're intense. A couple of them don't have like an ending.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, I guess you're
Well,
going to have
I'm
that.
not.
Go ahead.
I've always been this way where I'll read 3/4 of a book and stop.
Yeah.
And just go, I don't give a shit what your ending is. I've already come up with my own ending. So I guess I really don't care if there's a definitive ending, because there's a lot of books where, it's like, especially there's a certain type of book that I read that where it's like, I don't need to read the whole thing. The whole point of the book was to pose a question to the reader. And I go, once I get that, I'm like, I don't need to hear what your rinky-dink answer is. I'll come up with my own answer to the question that you pose, or whatever. And it's probably hurt me in my life.
Yeah.
More than it's helped, but it is what it is. So I guess I don't need a definitive ending to anything.
I would say I'm the opposite. I need to finish it. Even in like, then that's the one thing I like about short stories is I don't have to commit a ton of time to know what happens at the end. I read, well, The Mist was like 130 pages or something like that. But it takes less time for me to figure out the story than not. And you can get new stories, which is kind of nice. And if I want to take a break and move on to something else, I can. But when I start a book, I have to finish it. Doesn't matter how long it takes. Like I can't move on. I need to know. I need to complete it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll give a book 50 pages too if it doesn't do. If I'm able to put it down and walk away from it for a while after 50 pages, then I'm not probably going back to it.
I'm not like that. Even I read a book that I thought was like the whole time I was like, this is eh. I finished it.
Yeah. So sometimes those are the best stories, because if you, I wasn't always this way. I used to read a lot of books and I used to read them to completion. And I remember there were some books that were, it's like you have your books that have great concepts but bad execution. And then you have your books that have an interesting idea, but they're not really executing it well. And then all of a sudden, right at the end makes the whole thing good. And for a while, I thought that was okay. And then I realized I don't like that. I shouldn't have to go through 250 pages or 350 pages of bullshit to get 50 pages that goes, oh, now it's good.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to struggle through. If I wanted to do that, that's the life that I'm living right now. Out here in reality is 350 pages of shit. And I hope the ending is good.
Or as we like to say with our mantra, in with the bull, out with the shit.
Yeah, I don't think that was it. I think it was in with the good, out with the bull.
Oh, yeah. Something like that.
Because when you make that hand gesture towards your face and you go in with the bull. Yeah.
Yeah, you might get the wrong impression.
Yeah, there's a wrong impression implied there.
It's all up for interpretation.
That's true. Yeah, it really doesn't matter. You can say whatever you like.
In the words of Jim Carrey, and maybe this could be my mantra, none of this matters. That's the good part.
Yeah.
You're listening to
That's a good mantra. That's a legitimate mantra.
Yeah. He said that when he was going through a little bit of a phase. So, in the spirit of things, I'm still sipping this drink. It's good. It's a sipper, which is one of the reasons I love the bourbon stouts. You sip it, you don't chug it, you embrace it. It takes you on a journey. It's not all about reaching the destination. It's the miles that you put on that get you there. The memories that you build whilst sipping upon the glass that contains the delicious bourbon Mon Cheri in the glass. You savor the flavor. You take it little by little. You don't dive in head first. You dip your toe in. You get used to the waters. And then you go mile after mile. You meet some good people along the way. Maybe you meet someone who you give a little bit of a smooch, and then they tell other people, no, that didn't happen. That guy's a real square. And then you keep on moving, and eventually when you reach the destination, you are a defined specimen. You are an established human. You are you. and then you die, and none of it matters. Dudes with brews on a porch.
Adios. Nuts in a cap, that was.